Hey guys, Brian Loves Indie Music Chung here. We're going to be reviewing an album. This album is The Life of Pablo by Kanye West, a rapper, producer, fashionista, famous egoist. We're going to be reviewing The Life of Pablo to the full extent. See, I'm going to get one thing out of the way. It's not experimental hip-hop. And it's nothing like a Kendrick Lamar album, and it's not Neutral Milk Hotel. It also has more than 12,000 listeners on Spotify, so I can't legally give it a 7. Otherwise 4chan will be after me because they don't like liking popular music. Okay, let's start off with Ultralight Beam. Ultralight Beam has this very religious, kind of ceremonious, it's like I've got a dagger out of a sheath and I've just gutted a goat in a barn. It's absolutely insane. It's got this beautiful feature from Chance the Rapper, beautiful lines. I think Kanye really has harnessed his kind of old college dropout, Jesus Walks kind of side when it comes to this album. I definitely think it's a very strong start to the album, which makes me really excited to show you guys the rest of the album. A 20-track album, was 19 on release, but Kanye added St. Pablo later on, which is quite a good song on the album. Next up, Father Stretch My Hands, Part 1. This song has a very funky beat, and that is just the truth. But Kanye, oh Kanye, you scallywag, coming in with your absolutely bombastic lyrics. If I may quote one, if I get bleach on my t-shirt, I'm going to feel like an asshole. Oh Kanye, why are you so crazy? Oh, maybe it's because you love yourself so much. I hate you, Kanye West. I can't like people that make good music. I have a predetermined disposition on him. Okay, Part 2 is a kind of tale about how much he misses his dad, and almost like a quick summary of his life. His mama passed in Hollywood, as he says in the track, which is a very sad occasion. Donda West sadly passed away, being the inspiration behind his hit album 808s and Heartbreak, which was critically panned upon release, but has become a bit of a cult classic in the recent years after people start realising that his music is actually really good, and you don't have to like both the man and his music. You can actually like two different things. It's insane. It's why I love Michael Jackson's music. Sure, he was a blatant, fragrant abuser of children, but he was a very good musician. I mean, that's just facts right there. So Part 2 has a great feature. Designer's hit song Panda is sampled and featured. It's really great. I think it introduced everyone to Designer, stroke rapping extraordinaire. Next we've got Famous, a very controversial track, of course featuring the line about Taylor Swift, that he made the bitch famous, which ultimately is true, but people like to deny this fact because it can be seen as misogynistic, which I don't believe because I absolutely hate women. Okay, Famous has Rihanna on the track, and it has this very good, what's her name? Nancy Summit feature on it. It's a sample. I think he gives too much of the sample away at the end, but who cares, right? It's an absolute banger. Feedback, track number 5 on the album. An absolute slammer if you ask me. You heard about the good news. You're sleeping on me, huh? Had a good snooze. I think that kind of represents his music as a whole. People are sleeping on him because of his kind of bombastic personality, but I think his music is very beautiful, artistic. That's why he's won 21 Grammys. I mean, you don't just get one for fucking nothing, you know? And like 60 nominations. 60 nominations! He's got a Vanguard Award where he happily announced his presidential campaign that will take place in 2020. So that's Feedback. It's got a great line at the end if you keep listening in. Lowlights is a kind of intro into Highlights, as you may guess, but Lowlights is this very religious kind of, it's this woman speaking, you want to give me a testimony about my life, it's it's very good. It's got this very like boom, boom, boom. It's got a very nice beat to it. I've got nothing bad to say about it. I think it's more of an intermission track. I wouldn't treat it as an actual song, but it's still good musically speaking. Sonically, it's quite sound. It's definitely been produced with a lot of love and care. Highlights. Tell My Baby He's Back in Town. Highlights is an absolute banger of a track, I have to admit. It features a lot of silly lines like Kanye West, the silly goofster himself, wanting a GoPro on the end of his genitalia. Now, why would he want that? So we can play it back in slow-mo. Okay. Next, we have one of my personal favourites on the album, Freestyle 4, which kind of incorporates this kind of trap feel, but I don't think it's entirely trap. I think it's, he is from Chicago originally. He was born in Atlanta, so I guess it's kind of the drill music has kind of, taken its toll on this track. I think it's got a lot of good lines, fucking right in the middle of the dinner table at the Vogue party. Absolutely amazing. Then we come up to the self-aware intermission, I Love Kanye, which obviously isn't him being self-aware, but him just confirming that he is just a massive egoist. Because I don't understand basic sarcasm. Okay, next on, Waves. Very wavy track, as Max B will say later on the album. Waves, waves, don't die. It's got Chris Brown on it. Absolute slammer. There's not much more I can say about it. Sonically speaking, it's very beautiful. It's got these lovely soundscapes. I mean, I couldn't compare it to maybe my favourite White Stripes song, but it's actually really good. So we're going to move on to FML featuring The Weeknd. FML has this very sad tale about how he was in Mexico and he went off of his anxiety and depression medication and then brutally murdered what I believe to be his spouse at the time. Although I can't confirm this. Obviously, it's nowhere near as good as my favourite Smith song, but it does have Weeknd. Weeknd really brings the delivery. See, The Weeknd is really popular, but we're allowed to love him for unspecified reasons. No one's explained it to me yet. Next up, the most somber track, I think. Maybe. We'll find out. Real Friends. This very sad kind of monotonous tale, like, does he have any real friends, or people just pretending to be his friend? I think that's really the message of the track, and that not everyone is real in this very fake world, and I think that, everyone needs to evaluate their own friendships, and I need people to think, are they the only ones with real friends, or are some of them fake, Very sad track, very sad. Second, I'd say, next up is Wolves, which I'd say is another very somber track with some quite funny lines. Wolves has this very depressing, it's been described as you're kind of drowning, sonically speaking. It's very, very strong. It's amazing, actually. So Wolves, it has these great lines, you left your fridge open, somebody just took a sandwich, which people just find hilarious, but I think's a pretty good metaphor. And the music video is a very beautiful art affair, but I still wonder to this day, why is Kanye crying? Next up, Frank's track. Originally at the end of Wolves, Frank's track is a 30-second clip of Frank Ocean singing in what seems to be a kind of bathroom and/or prison. I haven't figured it out yet, but I think it may have been recorded via EXIF data in the forests of Lithuania. I cannot confirm this though, as I do not know Frank Ocean personally, but I do agree that it is a slammer of a track. And then we come up to the cult classic intermission track, Silver Surfer Intermission, which stars, convicted criminal Max B, ex-rapper, telling Kanye West that he is very wavy and he's allowed to refer to himself as wavy and his album to be called Waves after the big Wiz Khalifa beef. But then Kanye the jokester changed the title of the album. What a nut. Next up, 30 Hours, another very depressing. It tells a tale of him driving to see this woman of interest and how, you know, she was cheating on him and he had to drive back all these hours, and it's very sad, it's very beautiful, it's got these great melodies, it's really is beautiful. And then we've got No More Parties in LA, which was produced by none other than Madlib, most known for his Quasimodo alias, and also producing the Mad Villain album. It features Kendrick Lamar, so instantly I've boosted this album up to a chronic 9, because Kendrick Lamar is the future. Sure, he has a terrible whiny voice and his lyrics are subpar, but he's got a few sad songs, so we can boost him up because he's the next one. Okay, next up, Facts, Charlie Heat edition. Originally a very underwhelming track that Kanye released prior to the album coming out. Charlie Heat really saved it by giving it that kind of bombastic bassy feel it was missing, and I think it's probably one of the strongest on the track on the albums. It features some funny lyrics which I'm not going to tell you because it's kind of a surprise. You need to go listen. Second to last, penultimately, we've got Fade. I feel it had the beautiful music video with the lovely chocolate lady who was dancing in Little to Nothing, which certainly gave me a bit of a excitement down in my underwear, if I may say. Okay, so yeah, Fade, you know, very, very fun bum 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 bum, you know, very good. Yeah, and then we got the final track, which was added late and probably the most depressing on the track, Saint Pablo, which tells the tale of how he was in debt, supposedly, not personal debt, but kind of business debt, and that, you know, even when people asked him for money, knowing he was broke, he didn't say no, and he gave them the money. And he tells the tale of his now ex-friend Jay-Z, you know, talking about Apple deals. He would have taken a certain amount of money and gave 20 million of it to Hove, which is Jay-Z's alias, and I think it's really just a very sad, somber track, which could be seen as a kind of sad note from Kanye himself. I mean, he really is just a very beautiful man, and I just want to end the album. I want to give this record. I've had a chance to listen to it on vinyl. I got a custom press from Hans at the local pressing station. It's a bit more crunchy on vinyl. I'm gonna give it. When you take into account the amazing soundscapes, the beautiful lyrics, the absolute lyrical genius that this has taken, it's nowhere near, you know, your Divine Council, for example, or your Asia album, otherwise, or your Shirley Bassey's. But I'll still give it an 8.73 recurring, because Kanye West really stepped up the game this time. So thanks for listening to my review of the life of Pablo.
Thumb and forefinger tap, laughed at, yeah, you know it. A fingertip placed on the lips, which gave a little shh. Maybe we're talk about that, not now. You see, I'm jacking. All my friends are here, there's just no time for taboo. Can't believe I have to rap on tracks, so you get it. Wanna talk about so much stuff, then you just give me hush. We can sort that out for now. The place is packing. Spent big cash on a new dance floor, and everyone's come through.